Running a little bit in time, but we're here. Good afternoon again and welcome. Always a busy Friday. And it appears there's a lot going on because I'm hearing all the government officials running about to the different radio stations. A news conference is scheduled for 3 o'clock with the Prime Minister of Dominica. I guess everybody's getting ready for Monday in their own way. It's 1:16. Dominicans, are you ready for the electoral reform rally at home and abroad? Critical legislative review on the critical bills before us in preparation for Monday, December 16th. Stand for Dominica outside Parliament. Listen to the opposition parties coming together with one voice, one agenda. Dominica needs genuine electoral reform.
It's the time to make real the promises of democracy.
Listen this Saturday to Q95, MO News, and other social media with one agenda. Listen this Saturday, 7 to 9 p.m. Show up on Monday or face a dictatorship in Dominica.
The time is always right to do what is right.
Justice anywhere is the threat to justice everywhere.
E-Star Trading Limited Christmas giveaway is on. Spend $75 or more, get a chance to win one of 4 fantastic prizes. First prize, a 4-burner gas stove. Second prize, a toaster oven. The third prize, a Ronix cordless screwdriver drill set. And the fourth prize, 10 shoppers will win vouchers valued at $100 each. Purchase items valued between $150 and $199 and get an immediate 5% off. Purchase items valued at $200 or more and get an immediate 10% discount. For purchases of $100 plus, get a large shopping bag free. For purchases of $75 plus, get a small shopping bag free. Loyalty card holders will receive double points when they shop between December 9th to December 16th. E-Star Trading Limited, we are here for you. And the management and staff of E-Star Trading Limited extends a happy 2025 to all customers.
Exciting news from AutoTrade. Incredible savings are here. Take advantage of AutoTrade's Thrifty Thursday promotion. Mark your calendars. On the last Thursday of each month, AutoTrade is offering up to 20% off items throughout the store. Yes, 20% off. But wait, here's more. Keep your eyes peeled for our exclusive Deal of the Day offer, bringing you even bigger discounts on select items. Whether you're looking for car accessories, maintenance essentials, or just browsing for a great deal, we've got you covered. So be sure to swing by AutoTrade every last Thursday. At AutoTrade, it's more than a vehicle, it's a relationship. Terms and conditions apply. New York City and the Tri-State, let's get some power.
There's a party! It's a party!
Borough to Borough in collaboration with Creole Cultural Ambassador Prince Wadix present Winter Wonderland. The Red Edition, Saturday, December 21st from 8 p.m. 112-50 Springfield Boulevard, Queens Village, New York City. Featuring DJ Sniper, DJ Reckless, and the legendary Prince Wadix from Waddy Calling Fame. Advance tickets $50, $60 at the door. Supported by Q95 FM, the big station. La famille Créole, toute Dominique États-Unis, New York City, portation. Nous camene, Shannon Dominique Johnson. Samedi, décembre 21. Wepawe Kozot, Fini pour Piazon. Bon, musique et descend. Sagaiba.
Dominicans, are you ready for the electoral reform rally at home and abroad? Critical legislative review on the critical bills before us in preparation for Monday, December 16th. Stand for Dominica outside Parliament. Listen to the opposition parties coming together with one voice, one agenda. Dominica needs genuine electoral reform.
It's the time to make real the promises of democracy.
Listen this Saturday to Q95, Emo News, and other social media with one agenda. Listen this Saturday, 7 to 9 p.m. Show up on Monday or face a dictatorship in Dominica.
The time is always right to do what is right.
Injustice anywhere is the threat to justice everywhere.
All right, Dominica, we're here in the afternoon. Everybody seems to be gearing up for Monday. I said gearing up for Monday. I've been told that the security minister was on the other radio station. I was told that the AG was on the nation station trying to clarify what's out there since the talk of the first reading. There's been a buzz. And I'm no surprise, or not surprised, to see the kind of reaction that's taking place. As a matter of fact, we were scheduled to have a news conference at 12 o'clock or 12:30. That was pushed back until 3 o'clock. So this afternoon here, it seems a cloud is hovering over us in Dominica. The person seems very concerned. Well, I guess that's their right. On the telephone with me, of course, I have Mr. Loftus Jura in studios. Everybody seems to be getting together to rally the troops, if you will, all Dominicans to stand up, given what's going on. But Mr. Zed Lloyd is on the telephone with me this afternoon there. He too is very concerned about what we may be facing there on Monday. Hello, good afternoon to you, Mr. Lloyd.
Yeah, good afternoon, Matt. Good afternoon, Lofty.
Yes.
Is it ready?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. to the patriots, Mark, what would be nice about today? We
Tell
have them on the run. The backpedaling. We have them on the run. But at the end of the day, we also still losing the media war because of the reach of Q, the reach of Q. A lot of people are calling me from parts of Dominica and telling me what's going on. They're not hearing anything. So they kind of winning the media war, but we're winning the spirit war, the war of the patriots and resilience. And so I want to call upon those patriots to use your phones and reach your people in other parts of the island. Do not leave it up to Q and the radio. Sometimes on Q and those listening. But the truth is, Q has limited reach around the country. And so I want to call upon you, please, over this weekend, try and spread the word wherever you are. Whatever little ride you got, whatever, do this individual little things, because those are the things that come. Call people, invite some friends, let them know what is going on, and let us try and build and make sure that we get some people out there on Monday. It is critical. I heard Clarence speaking and these guys, dissing our names on their radio and talking a whole bunch of nonsense. But what Clarence needs to understand, Mark, that whether the Constitution gives the Prime Minister a right to certain privileges, the Prime Minister is not creating electoral reform for him. He's supposed to be part of an electoral reform for Dominica, not his choices, what is best for Dominica. And the labor rights people seem to think that the Prime Minister can do whatever he wants in Dominica because he is the Prime Minister. Well, Monday, we start to shift that conversation, Dominica. We're going to shift that conversation. Dominica belongs to us, not to Roosevelt Scary. So I want to call upon the patriots. Please, go out there, carry yourselves respectably, go out there and let them know that a number of people in Dominica are concerned about our future and our conditions. There is too much nonsense going on in the country, from life, from water, the health. This is one after the other. We're not getting the benefit of Dominica and as far as the amount of money that Dominica makes and the amount of value that Dominica is valued at. It is not benefiting us as locals. And so I want to call you, put all these causes together and carry yourself out to that parliament on Monday morning. Go and stand. Go and stand for Dominica.
Why do you think it's so important about Monday, Mr. Lloyd?
Say that again?
I said, why or what do you think is so important about Monday?
Well, here's the thing, Matt. We've had a spirit of fear in the country. There's a spirit of fear. We've not been able, even the ones who pray are still afraid, although the spirit is supposed to make them overcome fear. And I think Monday gives us an opportunity, a just opportunity, to show the world and to show Roosevelt spirit that we are no longer afraid. I think that is what Monday represents for me. A posture and a position where we turn the table around being afraid to being emboldened and being positive and not being scared of the system that we need to challenge. I think that's what Monday represents the most for me.
All right, so you're calling on the people to gather peacefully outside the parliament.
Yes. Now, we already win the war if we're there. We don't need anything else. What we need to be is to be here. Be here. Be from that parliament. Let your numbers come. Because what these guys are doing is they're testing the water. They want to see if there's resistance. And if there's no resistance, they're going to just go ahead and pass their stuff in parliament. Be here. Be in front of that parliament on Monday.
All right, Mr. Zedloy, thank you very much. In front of me is Mr. Loftus-Durant, another, of course, leader of the civic group in Dominica. Mr. Loftus-Durant, good afternoon to you, sir. How are you doing?
Matt, a special good afternoon to you, my brother, and I welcome the opportunity to be here with you this afternoon.
I see you well clad. You were coming from a funeral.
Well, Matt, yes, Mr. Leonard Pape Baptist, a visionary in his own right. He was laid to rest sometime earlier today at the People's Pentecostal Church. The funeral service was, and his family took his body from there, and they will be doing whatever they deem fit with his remains.
So you mean they may have a private burial?
Most likely.
So everything went well?
Everything went well. I had to make an apology for you, Matt. You were on the agenda to give some kind of contribution presentation, but I told them you're a man, you're multitasking, and today you could not. So
well, thank you for
they accepted that.
All right, thank you very much. So, Loftus, we're here to talk about Monday. The people are getting together, of course, to stand up against what has been described as, some draconian laws to go before Parliament, or the first reading to go before Parliament. And I notice you're one of the voices that is, you're standing. You're saying people come out and stand.
Matt, yes, I am one of the many, many voices out there who continue to stand for and on behalf of Dominica. And on that note, let me just applaud all the people who continue, in spite of the many, many challenges that we may be facing as a country, but these people continue to stand. And so I applaud the efforts and call on them once again to do just that, because my mission here this afternoon, in conjunction with the Electoral Reform Coalition, it is to encourage and help motivate and also inspire Dominicans to stand, not just stand, but stand and be counted in defense of our country, our beloved country, Dominica. That is my primary purpose here this afternoon.
There's some people I can tell, standing on the fence, wondering whether this move of you guys calling people together is gonna have any violence. There's no violence there. You don't.
Well, Matt, I for sure, and the group that I speak to on a daily basis in terms of helping fix or salvage what is left of our country, we have never called the people to act violently in any way, shape, or form. So those who are spreading this mis or disinformation out there in terms of their propaganda, then we have to dispel that. All we are calling the people out to do, as Z. Lloyd said rightly a while ago, it is to stand and be counted. Leaders like Roosevelt Skerritt, when they're doing wrong, Matthias PLT, they are afraid, they are scared of numbers. They're afraid of people standing resolute, standing with a message about their country. And so that is what we're calling the people out on Monday. Roosevelt Skerritt has shown time and time over again, / the DLP regime, that they're not prepared to have free, fair, and transparent general elections in Dominica. We have been on that roller coaster for how long now, Matt? And it is just time that the people of Dominica stand and put a stop to it once and for all. And so come Monday, the 16th, when they say it is the first reading that they're going to do.
Well, you don't believe that, though.
Well, Matt, with this government, they say, how they say it? You show me your colors.
And show you who you are.
Show me your friends, I'll show you who you are. Or show me, after a number of times of someone doing something.
It's like the story of Whole Fools. Remember that story?
All that can be included, yes. It's a matter of, after a number of time, people have shown you who they are by not just their words, but the action. Then you have to be very careful with some people. And Roosevelt Skerritt, for sure, we have known him to be the leader of Dominica for some time. But in terms of being true to his words, well, you keep playing it. He keep promising the Dominican people that he would make the way available for free and fair and transparent election. We have seen him fall short. And so the level of trust that we must put in him, in his government and his words, then is not much there is to trust. And so that is why we are saying, although they say that they go in and do just one reading and, leave it up to the people to have their input, we cannot trust that. And so that is why we are saying we are very vigilant as a people, and we will be coming, as it were, to see to our Dominicans' business.
You encourage persons to bring their placards along?
Matthias, a placard is a good thing that you asked that, A placard, Matt, represents a very pivotal thing in a protest action, in a peaceful assembly.
Mm-hmm.
It represents the message that you want to convey to the powers that be. So yes, I'm encouraging everyone, make your placards, come with something written that you want to send across to the powers that be in terms of your message. It also adds to the, should I say, the spectacle. Mm-hmm. Because, Matt, the whole world is zoomed on us, And come Monday, they will be as well. Because we have been at that crossroads for much too long. And so when we will all be standing with our placards in one accord, in one voice, reciting one refrain, that we need free, fair and transparent general elections, and we will not have what some people dub Roosevelt's reform, then that is what we are calling the people to do. I already have some placards in my possession from the old CCM days. They are still there. So I'll be resurrecting them. But I'm urging people to come with their placards. Let us come with a message. Let us come with a message. And I'll be touching on the United Nations aspect of it in just a while.
All right, let's take a phone call because we have to be interactive. Everybody want to participate in this discussion for sure. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Matt, good afternoon to you,
Good afternoon to you, sir.
and good afternoon to whoever you have in the program, on the program with you.
Loftus Durham.
Matt, I've been, Lofty, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Matt, I've been calling your program for years, and I am certain that you can testify of the fact that I never went there stay in Tortola and tell the people to protest. Isn't that true?
That's true.
Because why I never said that is because, Matt, I am not in Dominica. Whenever I come to Dominica, I say, I mean, what boots on the ground. If there's boots on the ground, I'll be able to help. But not at this time. Where we are at this time, I am calling the people in Soufrière, Côte Gagnon, especially this community to stand, because I believe, Matt, if it was one of the children that they have killed, the alleged murderer have killed, somebody will come to Scott to pay a dollar or give some money and like just wash it away. So, Matt, I am asking the people now to join that peaceful protest that is going to take place on Monday and stand against the wickedness this government is doing to the people of Dominica. And people who are in Tortola, Dominicans are hearing me. If you agree with me, let's gather together on Monday and let's have our own protest in Tortola. Let's get it right. Let's gather somewhere and let's stand with the people of Dominica for this cruelty that's happening to Dominica. Dominicans, I encourage you for the first time, go there on Monday, stand strong, stand tall, and say to Roosevelt Spirit, enough is enough, peacefully. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. While it seems everybody's very concerned, we heard from the president of course, the United Workers' Party this morning, Mr. Lennox Linton.
Dominica, listen up. In Westminster-style parliamentary democracies, like the one we have here in Dominica, the initial stage of the legislative process, passing laws, is the introduction of bills by way of a first reading. So, on Monday, December 16, 2024, with the first reading, the bills for the new electoral laws will be formally introduced to the Parliament 18 months after the first drafts were presented in the report of electoral reform consultant Dennis Byron. The titles of the bill will be read out, and their purpose will be briefly stated, but there will be no detailed discussion or debate. You see, the first reading is procedural. It gives notice to members of Parliament and to the public that the bills for the Electoral Commission Act, the Registration of Electors Act, and the House of Assembly Elections Act have been proposed. This allows the members of the Parliament to familiarize themselves with the content of the bills before engaging in further scrutiny or debate. After the first reading, the bills can be sent to a committee for detailed examination, or it can be scheduled for a second reading, the stage in the process where there is substantive debate on the principles and the objectives of the bills. Introducing these bills for first reading only could very well mean that government is gauging public interest or reaction before proceeding further. Is the public interest high? Is it low? Is it somewhere in between? If what we are getting is scarred reform as opposed to genuine electoral reform for free and fair elections, will the people react with more talk show and social media talk? Or are they finally ready to shut down the country until? My brothers and sisters of Dominica, the struggle for electoral reform in Dominica has been against one man and his gang in government taking control of the electoral process and thereby depriving Dominica of the right to choose freely and fairly government of the people, by the people, for the people, with the majority votes of conscience of the people. Roosevelt Skerrit has played the people for his fools on a merry-go-round of trickery, deception, false hopes, and empty promises, while he systematically abused, tainted, and manipulated the electoral process to secure his winning legacy in elections. Let me say to you clearly, from what I have been able to read, the proposed new Registration of Electors Act to be introduced in the Parliament on Monday will legitimize a system for electing government that allows for citizens living overseas who are not ordinarily resident in Dominica to be paid to come home to vote to determine the results in constituencies where they do not live and therefore cannot be represented. The campaign finance regulations proposed by the Electoral Reform Consultant for inclusion in the new House of Assembly Elections Act have been set aside, so there will be no restrictions on election campaign spending and no regulation of sources of election campaign funding. There are no provisions in the new House of Assembly Elections Act to prevent the bribery of citizens living overseas with money for traveling expenses to come home to vote. Taken together, what this means is that Skerritt's electoral reform gives him free rein to continue the practice of using the billions of dollars from the sale of Dominican citizenship that remain unaccounted for to pay Dominicans not resident in Dominica to determine representation in the Parliament of Dominica for persons resident in Dominica. The reforms that are facilitated by the new election laws to be introduced to Parliament on December 16th are inadequate to ensure free and fair elections. And we the people, we have a duty to oppose and to prevent enactment of any new and revised election laws that will normalize the formula of unlawful and corrupt electoral conduct that has been engaged to steal elections in Dominica. Forward we go.
Forward we go. And of course, the ERC, as Lofty explained, is one of the groups standing. We have an emergency statement there coming from the ERC. But before we do that, and allow Richie and, of course, my friend Lofty to continue, let's take on Boston to find out what are some of the activities that are taking place this weekend to keep generating or keep encouraging persons to come out for Monday. Mr. Boston, good afternoon to you, sir.
Matt, good afternoon to you and to your listeners at home and abroad, and of course to Loftus Durant in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And what I heard from Leonard.
Good afternoon, Bosso.
The president of the UWP.
Yes.
That is excellent and so forth. And the feedback I'm getting from a number of persons around the country is, and even persons who live abroad, is the fact that they thought at this time of goodwill and when we should be engaged in, planning Christmas and enjoying Christmas, doing the economy stuff, that's the time the Prime Minister and his government is trying to bring in from the back door to speak, to say that, make it that mile, the whole question of the electoral reform bill. Now, this government has demonstrated to us time and time again that they do not stand by their words, okay? Because the Prime Minister and I had some very good discussion when we sent him the first letter in January to have engagement. He called me, we had some very good exchange. We had a second discussion. He said he would set a date suitable to him, which we allowed in the letter, and asked to send a list of persons who would meet him, which we communicated on. And we're now in December, and we have not met, and so forth. So it's not a game that we've been playing. I mean, to run government is a serious business. To govern the people is something that has to be thought of very seriously, and your focus must be as government on improving and empowering people so that their social standing, their livelihood can improve, and so on. And even though there were brothers and sisters in the rest of the region that are better than us because they have control of their government. They are able to, through the electoral reform system, and in which they have had ahead of us. The same time they were discussing, and they went ahead and implemented in all of these islands, electoral reform, with voter ID card and all of these things. And therefore, they are in charge of the government. So if the government is doing well, they commend them with another term. If they do that, they remove them. And that's how normal democracies operate and so forth. In our country, it's like a mess. I mean, we have been waiting there all along because we wrote letters, we went at an expense to prepare a nice document to present to the Prime Minister, the President, and the Electoral Commission. Thankfully, the President met us. We discussed with the President, and they received and they replied on what we received We haven't heard anything from the Electoral Commission, neither from the Prime Minister, and so forth. And we are citizens of Dominica. We have an interest in our country's development and so forth. We are in this party today. We may be in this party tomorrow. But the final thing is that we want good for the country. So we expect the Prime Minister to respect people who are functioning in a normal way in their country, and people would have the respect for him. But if you don't show respect, you don't get respect, and so on. And it's only on Tuesday we learned that the matter was going before Parliament. And we are waiting to hear what the Electoral Commission had done, where their recommendation went and where it is, and so on, to alert the nation, at least to have some level of discussion. And I believe personally that the Electoral Commission should have at least one consultation after the recommendation was submitted. They're not representing the Labour Party or the Freedom Party, UWP. They're representing Dominica. They're the referee between the various political parties who are contesting election on the island and so on. And to have gone to the Parliament on Monday, the 16th, to present the first reading, they said, but as I said earlier on, they have demonstrated to us time and time and again that they're not a group to be trusted. They say one thing now and do something else later on, and so on. So what we have done thus far, we have alerted the nation that this matter is going before Parliament. It is a matter that every citizen must take interest in, every Dominican at home and abroad, and ensure that the right thing is done. And of course, we continue to engage in the media matter. I must thank you, and I must thank the number of persons who turned up at the meeting we had on Wednesday evening. Very positive meeting, and so on. So we're calling for persons on Monday, which is the 16th of December, to gather outside of Parliament. Parliament is the people's house, the people's place where your representatives sit and debate on their behalf. And the reason why you have representatives is because the whole 69 or 70,000 people can sit in the house, so they elect representatives, but it's our house. And therefore, in my experience, I've been in Parliament myself, I've been in government, I've also served in coalition government, and I've seen people not afraid to come to Parliament to sit down and listen. So the idea is we are asking people to come, let's go to Parliament to hear what is being done. Let's show the government that our eyes are on them. We're not going to abandon the electoral reform struggle that we have started over 14 years ago. We have been discussing up to this day. And let us ensure that the government understands that it is not their thing and their personal property, is that of the state, and they must function in the interest of the state. And they must show the rest of the region and the world, because we engage in the region, we engage in the world. And I know the last time they sent the SSU here, we were saying to the prime ministers in the region, like Ralph Gonzalez, Deacon Mitchell, and Philip J. Pay, and all of these guys, that understand that what they are enjoying in their country, that have given them the opportunity to contest and be elected, is the same thing we're asking for. Nothing more, nothing less we're asking for. And therefore, they should not impose this kind of attitude of dictatorship on Dominica, because we're asking for something that is very, very simple, that every other country in the region has gotten, that the OAS have assisted them to pay for it. We have went ahead and pay on our own because we delayed and so forth. And I'm saying it's so shameful that this government, led by Roosevelt Scarrett, will decide to, in this time of goodwill, go to Parliament and create this kind of situation for the country. I think we have to discuss this matter and show that this matter go to Parliament. So at the end of the day, government, opposition, citizens can have an amicable resolution in this matter. That's what we are always asking for. We have gone to expense, to the length to ensure we prepare letters, prepare documents, we have paid printry to print, to submit. If we were not about this thing to end well, we'll do different things, but we want to take the high road and so forth. So as I said, Monday, people are invited, people are encouraged to go outside of Parliament peacefully, to let the government know we are there. We're not abandoning the electoral reform struggle. Our eyes are on them, and they must do the right thing in the interest of the country.
But I was going to say Blackmore. Boston, I heard this morning, I didn't hear myself, so I can't confirm, but a lot of people sent me text messages to indicate that the security minister was on the sister radio station or the other radio station, saying or warning persons to stay away. Anyone found, the quote is, according to them, anyone outside of Parliament will be arrested, not only parliamentarians, but the parliamentarians must have the bill, not strangers. So, in other words, they're saying that if you're not a parliamentarian, you can't be outside of Parliament. Any reaction to that?
Well, this guy is a nuisance, Matt. He's a dysfunctional nuisance because Parliament belongs to the people. And the people are going to Parliament. I mean, have known people. Why you have a gallery in Parliament, a strangers gallery, is to invite the public. I remember when I was in Parliament, school children came there. Teachers brought them there to see how the members of Parliament were functioning, so that they themselves can build themselves up as good citizens wanting to be in Parliament. So politics is a decent thing. Some people try to make it undecent, but it's a decent thing, and therefore I do not see what Mr. Blackman is talking about. We have not said that we're coming to Parliament to have a war. We're coming to Parliament to listen to ensure that what they're doing there are in the interest of the country, and what is he frightened about, Matt, and so forth. But I was about to say I would dismiss Mr. Blackman as being a dysfunctional nuisance. But I want to say
You keep repeating that, Bloss, a dysfunctional nuisance. I mean, you're that serious, huh?
I'm serious about that because if the gentleman is functioning on behalf of the country, that first of all elected him to be in Parliament, and he was so out of bounds that his own Prime Minister made him a senator now. He have no parliamentary standing, elected parliamentary standing. So that tells you what the person is. And if he doesn't understand that the Parliament belongs to the people, and if people are talking about what they disapprove, and you want to threaten them with arrest and so forth, that tells you this person is not normal. That person has got a normal brain mass and so forth. And I make no apology for saying that.
Well, boss, I know something special is happening tomorrow night. I think you're having some discussion there on Q95, and it will be broadcast all around the world. Tell us about that quickly before you go.
Yeah, quickly, Matt. Well, tomorrow night we have what we call a virtual rally. We've had that before, where we brought a number of persons, local and overseas, together because it gives an opportunity that people can join from wherever they are, any point, any part in the world they are, to join and to discuss where we are, what we're talking about, and where we ought to go. And that will be tomorrow from 7 p.m. And DNO, MO News, Q would be on, and the stood both DBS and Kyrie would make some arrangement to at least pick up some news from that because people need to be informed and so on. Because discussion, when you're informed, you make what you call informed decisions. Mm-hmm. And that's what we are encouraging, Matt. So that's what it is.
All right. So
and quickly Monday, we invite persons to come out to show their solidarity in what we're asking for. We're not calling anybody to go and do anything that is not right. We're just going to ensure that the government see us there, understand we're not abandoning the electoral reform struggle, and for our eyes to be on them so they can do the right thing in the interest of the country.
So in other words, Ukaveyo. Okay, okay. Boston, thank you very much. Good afternoon. Richie Farrell is here. Of course, my friend Loft is still here to continue with the struggle, but we have an emergency news release coming from the ERC that I want Richie to talk to us about. Richie, good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you again.
Good afternoon to you, Matt, and to Lofty and to the listeners of Q95 FM radio. In a statement written by the Electoral Reform Coalition addressed to the Honorable Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerrit, dated December 13th, 2024, reads, Dear Honorable Prime Minister, after numerous attempts to engage you in discussions on the matter of electoral reform for the Commonwealth of Dominica and our efforts to present to you the concerns and recommendations of a broad cross-section of the people of Dominica, most recently the in-person delivery at your office on August 9th, 2024 of the People's Electoral Legislation Amendments coming out of the People's Parliament or public meeting held at the Arch in Roseau between the two bridges on Sunday, July 7th, 2024, you have ignored all these gestures of goodwill by the citizens of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and you are now proceeding to Parliament with bills, the content of which the entire population is unaware of. Members of the Electoral Commission are unaware of the content of the legislation and whether the recommendations from the Electoral Commission were considered in your legislation. You have neither acknowledged nor responded to the ERC submission. Therefore, we are also unaware whether any of the ERC's recommendations are included in the legislation that is being presented to Parliament on Monday, 16th December 2024. Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, Your approach to dealing with the electoral reform process for the Commonwealth of Dominica is dangerous and threatens the peace, tranquility, and national security of the nation. You seem to believe that electoral reform is for your personal and the Dominica Labour Party survival and perpetual hold of political power. And with this attitude, you are provoking the anger of the citizens of the Commonwealth of Dominica. You are well aware that the necessary preparations have not been made for the presentation of the electoral reform legislation to Parliament. And it is for this reason that you directed the Attorney General to inform the nation that only the first reading of the bill will be presented to Parliament on Monday, December 16th, 2024. With all due respect, Mr. Prime Minister, your historical record of broken promises and disrespect to the Dominican people does not allow that level of trust in your administration, since there is nothing to prevent you from proceeding with all three readings of the legislation at the next sitting of Parliament. It is unfortunate that you have created a high level of mistrust in your administration by the citizenry, and for this reason, the ERC is appealing to you to postpone the presentation of the electoral reform legislation to a later date to allow the citizens of Dominica to review the Sir Dennis Byron draft legislation of July 2023, your draft legislation of May 2024, the recommendations from the Electoral Commission, and the legislation that you are presenting to Parliament for a better understanding of what the nation is finally receiving as electoral reform after almost 2 decades of advocacy at great cost and sacrifice of many, including the result of not having a leader of the opposition in the current parliament. We do trust that good sense will prevail and that within a reasonable time, the Commonwealth of Dominica will enjoy a satisfactory electoral system. Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister, and kind regards, yours respectfully, the Chairman of the Electoral Reform Coalition, Johnson Boston.
All right. Thank you, Richie. Thank you again for the great work. And let's continue the discussion here with Loftus Durand of our Civic Vibes and, of course, part of the ERC himself. Let's continue, Lofty. Again, why don't we trust the Prime Minister at this point?
Matt, because Roosevelt Skerrit has shown us who he is. And so if somebody has shown you the true colors, it is not in nobody's interest to try to repaint them. That's basically what it is.
You don't expect him to change at all?
Not at all.
I think the international media may be paying attention, or international organizations may be paying attention at this time.
A lot of them. And a matter of fact, let me just read to you, Matt, as we speak, a report that came out of Barbados, that is from the United Nations end, on, let me see, yes, on November 4th it was.
Okay.
Let me just see if I get my marbles correct here. It says here, sorry, November 7th. On Thursday, November 7th, that is this year just gone, this past month that's gone, Dominica's human rights record was examined for the 4th time at the United Nations Human Rights Council, that is at the UPR, that is Universal Periodic Review. So I am saying that to say, Matthias Peltier, alongside the media and people in the international arena that will be and has been focusing on us in terms of the human rights abuses in Dominica. Here it was, just last month, November that is. Dominica came up for, again, another review as it pertains to the abuses, the rights that we are not guaranteed in Dominica. And so it's on that basis I'm calling out all Dominicans. Let us not be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid about. There's nothing to be intimidated about. So as Boston said, what is his name? Blackmore is a dysfunctional nuisance. Let us just put Blackmore aside for now. Don't even hear what Blackmore have to say and come to our parliament. That is our parliament. Nobody can stop you from assembling outside your parliament peacefully. So this sort of, intimidation and fear mongering and stuff from Blackman orders, no, it has not worked and it will not work. Never.
All right, Dominica, we're going to start taking your phone calls. Lofty's with me there for the afternoon time. If you need to ask any questions, feel free to do so. We're taking your phone calls. You are encouraged to come out and stand for your country. 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. These are the numbers to call: 616-425-7305, 432-9624. We're going to come back after this. Dominicans, are you ready for the electoral reform rally at home and abroad? Critical legislative review on the critical bills before us in preparation for Monday, December 16th. Stand for Dominica outside Parliament. Listen to the opposition parties coming together with one voice, one agenda. Dominica needs genuine electoral reform.
It's the time to make real the promises of democracy.
Listen this Saturday to Q95, Emo News, and other social media with one agenda. Listen this Saturday, 7 to 9 p.m. Show up on Monday or face a dictatorship in Dominica.
The time is always right to do what is right.
Injustice anywhere is the threat to justice everywhere.
Dominica.
All right, Dominica, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's take a phone call. Yes, good afternoon. Yes? Hello? Nobody home? Are you there? Hello? Hello? I'm sorry. If you're going to call, you have to call now. We only have 1 hour. All the civic groups and political groups, opposition political groups, are calling the people to stand. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Yes, man. Good afternoon, Mr. President.
Good afternoon to you, my brother. How you doing?
Not bad at all, man. Well, I'm glad to know that Dominican decided to stand up. But man, what I want all public servants. Nobody shouldn't go to work on Monday. You're standing up, you're sacrificing for your country, scared, and nobody cannot fire nobody. The more everybody stay out from work, nobody cannot get fired. He cannot fire the whole country. He cannot fire the whole company. Forget about the keys. Forget about what little money give you. Forget about whatever. Just stand up on Monday, everybody. Nobody not working on Monday. Monday, you're doing nothing. The only thing you're doing on Monday, you come in and stand up by the parliament. So we're doing nothing on Monday, no work, no uniform. We're asking the policemen and them. Only those appointed to work should come and assist us. But no policemen not working on Monday, no nurses, no doctor, no fireman, nobody, no students not doing anything. We just doing nothing on Monday, and that's what I'm asking Dominicans to do. That is your last call for yourself and your children and the generation of Dominica. Have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. People are standing. 201. I want you to stand. Are you there? 449. My overseas line seems to be giving me some problems here. So try again. 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. You were saying something, Rosie?
Yeah, as we wait on some calls to trickle in, at least two of the offending situations or sections in the bills that have to be presented to Parliament.
Mm-hmm.
It is they are for persons, for example, living overseas. We have heard Roosevelt Skerrit said in no uncertain terms that he will do all what it takes within his power to keep people's name on that list, that old bloated list, so that they have their right to vote. And that is part of one of the real offending situations that will be presented on Monday as part of the first reading.
If they have not been in Dominica for the past 5 years.
But Matt, our regulations in the electoral law says if you, not nobody forced you, you deliberately take yourself out of this blessed rock for 5 years and more consecutively, and you have not been back to Dominica, that name supposed to be stricken off the list. But Roosevelt Skerrit is determined that it should stay. And so we are calling on Dominicans to let us protect our democracy. Roosevelt is about, and he's in the avenue. Mm-hmm. He's on the trajectory to steal our democracy from us, and we cannot afford that to happen.
On the telephone, are you there? For some reason, we're not connecting with the overseas line.
We also have the situation of the monies, the largesse that normally flow into our electoral processes. We heard about what, 70 million the last time,
Mm-hmm.
meaning $1 million per person in the election. That to me is highway robbery. He should not, these people should not continue to steal their way to keep the political advantage. It cannot be. We cannot continue to have things like that happening in our country. And some of us Dominicans just, just play as if, well, we see and hear no evil. Evil is taking place in our land. And when we see and hear about it, we're supposed to be prepared to do something about it.
Another telephone call. Yes, good afternoon to you. Yes?
Matt, I will hammer it and I'll keep hammering it. There's no talk about putting an opposition leader in place, and that is unconstitutional. That's another issue why this government should go. They're not talking, they're behaving as though, well, Skerrit already said we don't need an opposition. He already said that. The dictator has said that. But the people must force him to follow the Constitution. We must force that president to put an opposition leader in place. Otherwise, we're running on Constitution. Enough said.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes? Hello? Nobody there. Let's try this call. Oh, sorry about that. I find it strange that somebody's suggesting to me, Lofty, that Blackmore says the bill should be in the hands of the parliamentarians, not strangers to the citizens. What is my understanding of that? I don't really know what he's saying, though.
But these bills are primarily for the people.
It's Dominicans.
Dominicans. The parliamentarians are there to speak for and on behalf of the people they represent. But ultimately, it is the bills of the people, so the people must attend to those bills. So what Blackmore is saying is, to me, just utter rubbish.
So Bosso may be right there.
Well, Bosso is on cue.
Hello, talk to me on the telephone. 449-3095. The telephones are giving me some problems here. Are you there, caller? Yes?
Yes, I am there. Good afternoon.
Our first call from the overseas line. Working. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon.
Mat Mokadija Dominique leve. Soukwe koyo lundi. Soukwe kozo lundi. Malapu endezo. Soukwe kozo lundi. Leve akaizo. Oti sakzon le dozo. Tibo kai glozo. Tim biscuit zo. Mete yon lo extra chiming. Mete yon le dozo. Pi desana la kuzo. Wozo. Kaila se sazo. Se la kuzo. Ale du bout la yo pasa dou viwe se la kou. La wo la kou moun sa dou sorti? Pa disappointé moi. Du bout, mon pa la pou du bout bazo si monte la monte ke premier pour du bout. Bravo. Moi hope jo katan moi Jean mon pa sa di wood la non on the east. Thank you, Matt.
All right, thank you too. On the telephone 206, talk to me.
Yes, Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
To you and your listeners, and good afternoon to Loftus.
Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon,
Matt,
sir.
I do not know what the government is really trying, but I can guarantee them.
I suspect they may be testing. I suspect they're trying to test a test phase.
Matt, I believe that, I believe that to a certain extent, but I will be there to stand for myself and my children. And the fact that in Cochrane, Ronald Charles lost by 4 votes the last time, and I have more than 4 votes. I have 4 votes at my home. So they can do what they want, but they will never not be getting that. But Matt, I'm trying to tell this government, give the people what they are looking for. Do not look for any sort of confrontation. Matt, you see why they shift their conference from 12 to 3? They are waiting to hear what the people are saying. That's what they're waiting to hear. Nothing else but that. But Matt, I have to tell them, do what they have to do, or else I will be out on Monday. I will have a hat, and people can aim at me. Good morning.
All right, good. And remember this ERC, they of course looking for for contributions there for the weekend to, feed the people, bring water for the people. So if you can contribute to or call a member of the ERC to make that contribution, it's 2:08 in the afternoon. Are you there, caller?
Yes, Matt. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Lofty.
Good afternoon. Yes.
Good afternoon.
Refresh my memory, guys. When was it that there was electoral reform in 100 days?
Sometime last year,
No.
earlier this year, to be correct. I think.
No.
No?
it was after an election, and I don't believe it was after the 2022 election.
Oh, yes, after the 2022 election there, he made that promise of 100 days.
Sham
Yes.
election, man,
Yes, yes.
not after the sham.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be after 2019. Check that and let me know, please.
Maybe after 2019,
Yes.
you're right. I think I'm
Yes.
looking for it there, right?
Yes, the caller is right.
You're right. You're right. All right. Thank you very much. And that's a long time ago, you know.
Very long. Years we're talking about.
Hello, talk to me, yes? Caller, are you there? Hello, talk to me, yes?
Yes, good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon.
Matt, what Blackmore is talking about, when they was going to give that man bail, he was so vocal that he was vexed because he didn't want the man to get bail. Right now, we're going to stand up in our yard to hear what they're doing for us in Dominica. He's saying we cannot come. Dominica doesn't belong to Blackmore and them. So tell Blackmore to give us a break.
All right, Mr. Blackmore, you were told to give them a break. Hello, talk to me, yes? Hello? Nobody there. Let's take another phone call, yeah?
Madam Mayor.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes, in relation to what the person called about,
Yes.
it's since 2009.
2019. 2019.
2009. Because when Ron Green was leader of the UWP, he and Judy Festinger put out a white paper on reform. And then a delegation from the UWP and the Freedom Party went to St. Kitts to meet the OECS heads who were having a meeting there. The only prime minister who gave them a hearing was Stevenson King from St. Lucia since 2009, not 2019.
Maybe a different document lost it, because I get the impression.
But so what the caller was asking was, when did Roosevelt promise to give elections within 100 days? That was a question I understood from the caller.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's 20. And I think I have the clip here. I'm trying to find it. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm trying my best, sir.
I don't know what Dominicans are scared of. I was in the fire department back in the late 60s, early 70s. We were not scared. We closed down the fire. We closed down Mendel. We refused to work. I don't know what is wrong with the people in Dominica now. And that Minister of National Security, that guy's bombastic. I have never seen or heard of anybody so stupid when he talks. And Dominicans, you all watch the news. You all see what happened in Syria recently? What are you guys scared of? It's your right. Don't be scared of this idiot who calls himself Prime Minister. Have a good afternoon, man.
All right, good afternoon to you. 449-3095-96 and 97. We're talking about, yes, the public to call out, to come out there on Monday. That's the call this afternoon. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Hey, Matt, good afternoon to you, brother. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon. Let me give you a joke. A couple of days ago, before you continue, somebody called me and said, I heard, you know, the rumors, they are fake news. Somebody said, Mr. Mike Wallace, I'm just hearing that he's passed. I was like, what?
Oh my goodness, boy, you're giving me the joke of my lifetime.
Well,
Somebody's
Matt,
announced my death.
Yes.
We are maybe hearing a resurrected.
So you're resurrected.
Thank you much for informing me, my brother. I am so very sad to disappoint that person. But no, on a serious note, this person must have heard something and was very concerned. I believe more people would be concerned than anything else.
And I'm saying I would have heard that by now. No, but I think you're resurrected. So that's good, Mr. Mike Wallace. Yes.
This is the Mr. Mike Wallace right here. No other like him, and that is a fact. Brother, I will tell you, for those persons who are interested, as far as I know, I am very, very healthy. Give thanks to the Father for that, brother. I don't have a single pain that I can even speak to. You know what I mean, bro?
Yes.
Now
Amen.
let's speak to the matter at hand.
All right. Talk to Al Franklin Moses said hi to you. He says he's happy you're alive.
Okay then. Well, that's all good. Thank you.
All right.
Love and all to all the people out there, Rastaman. At this time, we are very concerned in Dominica. We have been for a long time, for a very long time. Matt, right now, when this thing started, by the way, I heard the question about when was it that he said he'll do it within 100 days. That was the night, as far as I recall, the night after the 2014 election, if I am not That, I believe, was either 2014
About, I mean, 2019, more 2019. Yes, 2019.
2019. Yes, that night he said within 100 days, and that's when he announced this thing. But anyways, so there it is. In 2019, my brother, in 2019, I was not even a retired man at 65, and now I am well past 65.
Okay.
So that is how long we've been listening to foolishness from Mr. Skerritt, who everyone knows for a fact does not want to allow Dominicans to have the right to go to the polls and freely elect a government of our choice. We have stood up, we have demonstrated, we have protested, we have done. I have attended so many of them already, Rastaman, and at this point in time, nothing will stop me on Monday. And I want to encourage Dominicans, please, for your children's sake, your grandchildren's sake, stand up to protect your country. There is nothing to be afraid of. The police cannot shoot us all. We won't be coming with guns, so let them come with guns and shoot us. It cannot happen. They are not crazy. They are not stupid. They have relatives who are Dominicans. So if let us just set it aside. Go ahead, brother. Let us just set that aside. It cannot happen. It's just to scare us. We are going to our parliament, the people's parliament, a parliament that I have sat in, and everything else. We're going there on Monday to do one thing and one thing only. By our numbers. We don't need nothing else, just our numbers. Please, let's go out and let our numbers show. We are not going to fight. We're not going to stress. We're just going to go stand peacefully and say with our placard, we want true and fair elections in our country, and we are standing for that right. Thank you very much, brother. Let us all see us in numbers. Numbers count. We are only going to stand for the right that has been given to us. It was handed down to us, not by Skerritt. The British that gave us our constitution, but the British gave us our constitution, not Skerritt. Skerritt is trying to steal the constitution, our freedom from us. Do not let him steal it from us. We are going up to make certain that he does not steal from us. He has stolen enough from us, and he's stealing enough of our money. He's not going to steal our rights. Thank you very much, my brother.
And somebody, I think it is, somebody from government just sent to me. We were arguing about or debating whether it's 2019, 2014.
Mm-hmm.
He did that. I think he may be right. When he was sworn in 2020, that's when he made the declaration for the 100 days.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find out. I think that he may be right.
Yeah.
At his declaration, at the swearing in ceremony. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Love, life, light, healing, joy, gratitude, and courage. Mr. Belty, blessings to you, sir.
Blessings to you, sir.
Is Moses still there?
He stepped up for a minute.
Okay. Lofty blessings to you, bro.
Blessings to you, blessings. How is it?
I give him thanks, my friend. The blessings. Matt Belty, the Chinese and Skerritt. The Chinese and the Skerritt. Let's I put it like that. The Chinese and the Skerritt. But they have a great plan. It's a great design that the Illuminati talk to recolonize Dominica. So there is a systematic impoverishment, and automatically, when you're systematically impoverished, you're disempowered, man. So everybody's running. Not every day I hear people talking about, leaving Dominica, leaving Dominica. Matt, you don't see Dominica. Dominica is like a turtle. They turn on its back, Matt. And if somebody don't flip it over back on its legs, Matt, it's going to stay there in exhaustion, wiggling its follicle legs, Matt. And it will die. Dominicans need to understand, black mom won't scare it out. Austria, Matt, you know Austria talked the other day?
Mm-hmm. I played the clip.
You played the clip. I said Matt would have played that more often to know when to leave. But nobody did chase him out. He left voluntarily. He is subliminally sending a message to Chi-Chi Boss, Dominica will go up in flames. Leave the people alone. So Blackmore will come out. I did not hear him, Matt. The plane just landed. Matt, you know, Lee had dropped me like you. Do you know that, Matt?
I just dropped you, okay.
I just landed, so I did not hear that stuttering gibberish fool and that coward they call Blackmore. Every time he sees Skerritt, he catch the quivers or he get the quivers. He's afraid of Skerritt, so he hoping he says something stupid to infuriate Dominicans or to anger Dominicans even more, so we'll show up in numbers and take it as that. Black boys telling us, boss, I have to put a brave face like as if I defending the slave master. But please, can all you take over in numbers by Parliament and force that criminal to back down? That's what Black boys say. Not everything people telling you straightforward, you know. And these are the worst kind of people. I'm a kind of person, I tell you what I have in my mind. Sometimes I being a bit, you know, ridiculous or just being technical. Matt taught me a level of diplomacy. So I'll come with parables and allegories and metaphors and myths and all of that to try to teach you a greater lesson. But please, people, I will be there on two crutches. I take in is one cocoa mall I supposed to take. I take in two. And I come in and I standing up, Matt, for this piece of rock where we were born and raised. We cannot voluntarily quiver in fear and allow that demon, a damn coward, you know, to run us out of our country systematically here in the Chinese. Glory be to everybody that want to be counted. Be there on Monday, Jah willing. Blessings, King.
Well, Lofty, it appears that the people are willing to stand.
Martin, that is a very good sign indeed, because when a people stand, then as MLK said, and not standing bent back, as it were, then people like Roosevelt, Skerritt, and others with the dictatorial tendencies will not be able to climb those backs to do whatever they want.
So you think you need to see numbers there?
We need to see everyone who is interested in a Dominica, a much better Dominica. They need to come out. We need to come out in our numbers. And as Blessing said, be counted. Let me just, before you take another call, I try to connect something in terms of the discussion we're having.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when you talk to people about electoral reform, which to me is a very, elusive phrase rather for some people, but it simply boils down to freeness, fairness, and having our general elections much more transparent.
Mm-hmm.
So that, in a nutshell, the ordinary man could understand fuller. So the same ordinary man will go to a hospital, Matt, and they will tell you, boy, up there to have medicine, up there to have Panadol, up there to have this. When my child falls sick, I have to fly out my child. Know this, know that at the hospital. Do you know, Matt, that situation of not having free, fair, and transparent elections, which we are yearning for in terms of electoral reform, is a byproduct of the poor healthcare situation in Dominica? Do you know that? And so that is how we have to connect it to the ordinary man so that they could understand the situation that we're talking about.
You know, somebody called me this morning very, very early and very, very, pissed off about the fact that as you speak about the health situation in Dominica, somebody fell yesterday. I think the person was rushed to the Roseau or the Newton clinic. And they called the ambulance about 9 o'clock in the morning. And the ambulance only arrived about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
93, 6 hours after? Wow. Matt, that same ambulance that you are speaking of now, have you gotten a chance to view? Just take a sneak peek inside of that ambulance or inside of the ambulances we have?
From a distance.
What have you noticed?
I cannot tell you if I noticed because I said it was from a distance.
They're bare. There's absolutely nothing.
I didn't really see anything.
You're just taking a ride to wherever health facility. So the equipment that's supposed to be on these vehicles to
EMTs.
take you to that place where you can be taken much better care of. Nothing is there. Absolutely nothing is there. So that forms part of the conversation now we're having. Matt, the economy, when what, the Christmas season, it is said?
Yep.
Walk around Roseau and see for yourself the dreaded situation that is on the ground.
And to make it worse, a lot of the boats that came in to bring the little niceties for the people in Dominica, they've been turned back because the cement boat is causing a crisis there on the port.
Well, again, that is poor management. Leaders having not a vision, so that without that vision, the people continue to perish.
So I suspect you're going to have a really dry Christmas this season.
The crime situation that we spoke of, basically it boils back to good or bad government. So electoral reform is hinged on all the areas that are affecting our life in the negative. And so that is where the ordinary people need to understand. So when you hear people talk about free, fair, and transparent elections, it is trying to get you to understand what you are facing, what you need to be remedied in your children's interest, in your interest. That is why we need good government / good governance. And without free, fair, and transparent elections, we will continue to have what we have been having for the past, 15 years?
20. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon. And good afternoon to your listeners at home. Ma'am, I want to be counted. So I'm calling 295 this afternoon and to tell the people of Dominica to come out on Monday. But if we miss this time, we don't have another time. So please, people, you're doing it for your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. So please come out on Monday and show the government that you are serious about electoral reform. Okay, Mark? Bye-bye. I want to be there in person, but I'll be there.
You want to be counted there. Thank you very much, Dominica. It's 2:25 in the afternoon. Be there. Come Monday. Dominicans, are you ready for the electoral reform rally at home and abroad? Critical legislative review on the critical bills before us in preparation for Monday, December 16th. Stand for Dominica outside Parliament. Listen to the opposition parties coming together with one voice, one agenda. Dominica needs genuine electoral reform.
It's the time to make real the promises of democracy.
Listen this Saturday to Q95, Emo News, and other social media with one agenda. Listen this Saturday, 7 to 9 p.m. Show up on Monday or face a dictatorship in Dominica.
The time is always right to do what is right.
Injustice anywhere is the threat to justice everywhere.
All right, Dominica. The question is, will you stand? Will you stand? Dominicans, are you ready for the electoral reform rally at home and abroad? Critical legislative review on the critical bills before us in preparation for Monday, December 16th. Stand for Dominica outside Parliament. Listen to the opposition parties coming together with one voice, one agenda. Dominica needs genuine electoral reform.
It's the time to make real the promises of democracy.
Listen this Saturday to Q95, Emo News, and other social media with one agenda. Listen this Saturday, 7 to 9 p.m. Show up on Monday or face a dictatorship in Dominica.
The time is always right to do what is right.
Injustice anywhere is the threat to justice everywhere.
2:28 in the afternoon on the telephone. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Matt. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm trying my best under the circumstances.
Yes, this is good afternoon, Lofty. I understand Lofty is in the studio with you.
He's
correct?
right. He's right
Yes.
here with me. Yeah.
Yes, good evening. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, Lofty.
Good afternoon. This is Alvin Thomas calling from Atlanta.
I didn't catch
first of
that
all,
voice,
let
but
me
good
be-
afternoon, brother.
All right. But first of all, let me first of all begin by expressing my thanks and those of us and speaking on behalf of the many Dominicans in the diaspora who are concerned with what's happening back home. Thanks to the ERC and persons like Johnson Boston, yourself, Lofty, Joshua Francis, Mackenzie, and the many other persons who are engaged in that exercise to restore democracy in Dominica. And I think that is what it's all about. Yes, the exercise deals with electoral reform, but I think in a total view, if we look at it in a total picture, it is to restore democracy in Dominica, which is lacking. And I too would want to lend my voice and to make an appeal to all Dominicans from all walks of life, that they should be present at the sitting of Parliament on Monday morning, whether they're inside of Parliament or outside of Parliament. I think what is happening there is historic, given the fact that we have not had that exercise undertaken in the last 15 or more years. I think it is something that should be of concern to all Dominicans. Let me also make an appeal to other organizations in Dominica, and I will start off with the Bar Association, because I recall the Bar Association they made a submission to government. And in that submission, they raised a number of areas that they had some serious concerns about. And it would be interesting to know whether the Bar have had access to a copy of the bill that's going before Parliament and what comments they would have on that as well. I think the Bar Association or the people of Dominica comment as the legal minds in Dominica. Let me make an appeal as well to the unions in Dominica, and that includes all the unions, both the public and the private sector unions, that they should have a vested interest in this matter. Let me make an appeal to the churches, to the church group. I recall, if I'm not mistaken, that the last Bishop of Roseau Mazet had issued a statement on electoral reform. The churches should have a position on that matter. The business sector, the DIC, the DEF, I'm saying all of these sectors should have an interest in this matter. This is not something, as I think Boston and several of the other speakers have indicated. This has nothing to do with politics. This is not a unity matter. This is not a freedom matter or any other political party. This is a matter that touches at the heart of our democracy. And therefore, I'm appealing to every Dominican to be present on Monday morning outside the Parliament, or those who can gain access into the Parliament. And in ending, I just want to appeal to all my fellow Dominicans in the diaspora, those who can lend their support, financial support, moral support, a phone call support to the cause. I think it's a just cause, and it's a cause we're fighting and standing for. So my friend Lofty, and to all of you out there, hold on. You're doing what is right. You're doing what is just. And as we do this in the season of Advent, let us understand exactly what that season of Advent means to us, and especially those in the Christian community. Thank you, Matt.
All right, thank you for your contribution here this afternoon, Mr. Alvin Thomas. More telephone calls, yes, please.
Yes, Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Lofty.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Matt, let me tell you, I want to make appeal to especially the bus drivers. The organizers didn't have enough time to mobilize people and to get vehicles to carry people to Roseau, to mobilize people. The bus drivers can at least make one trip, just one. You don't need to make two, just one trip, and just bring people to Roseau. Just tell them, come on board, let's go. One trip you have to make, because we are not going to stand for United Workers' Party. We are not going to stand for the Freedom Party. We are not going to stand for any party. We are going to stand for Dominica. And when we get changes in our country, and our country is steering properly, we are doing it for our country, and we are going to benefit in it. So at least the bus drivers, be lenient, and just make one trip on Monday. Please, I'm asking all you. Just forget about the money you're going to make. One trip you have to make, and just bring people come come, Rosso, and let us all come, Rosso, and stand up for what is right for our country. Matt, are you listening?
All right, caller, thank you very much. On the telephone, more telephone calls. Good afternoon.
Yeah, Matt, just quickly, look at something. Lofty and listen as well, Lofty, and the listening public. Matt, you have in any little matter, let us say some matter with a neighbor or family member. It reached the low court, it go to the high court, and then it go to the CCJ. Matt, can you imagine you have matters of national importance, like electoral reform or, anything pertaining to the governance of a country. And Matt, it dies when one judge adjudicates on it, Matt, in Dominica. You know the possibility of these cheap judges, how easily they can be bribed with $1 million, $500,000, and all of that. And then and the final say has to do with that judge on the governance of a country. It cannot reach the what they call it, Matt, the
Eastern Caribbean Court or the CCJ? Which one?
No, the England one, where you can take it to.
Well, we passed that stage already, Blessings. We are now dealing with the CCJ. We're not dealing with the Court of Appeal, the Privy Council anymore.
Okay, I am saying it cannot reach the CCJ, man.
Yes.
One judge can decide if you have a dictator on your back, or you have no option. You have no option after that one judge decide if you have a dictator on your back. So, Matt, Dominicans fail to understand, a lot of us, that we're dealing with a full-fledged dictatorship. Something that is full-fledged is something that is already in flight. It is no chick growing little feathers and thing and learning to fly and falling from a tree and all of that. It is already like a vulture that is feeding on both the living and the dead, in Dominica particularly. So please, people, bury your fears. Your fears is not some repellent that will drive away or repel your imaginary dangers. Imagining dangers, that will never come to pass. 90% of them. All the time we are afraid. It's in our imaginations. We live in 80, 90, 100 years, and all that. Not today that I'm going to die, like as if I worry about death. Death is my friend. Life is my friend as well. Have a blessed day, sir. Thank you.
All right, Blessings. Again, it's 2:36 in the afternoon. More voice notes coming in there. Yes, good afternoon.
Matt Penalty, good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to your listeners.
Yes, sir.
We've heard time and time again the pronouncement of Dominica turning into a dictatorship, and the DNA of our democracy, of our government, requires parliamentarians to follow the rules and laws as they enact them. And there is no rules and laws that governs how a dictator makes decision in Dominica. So whatever Roosevelt Skerrit decide he wants to do, it has to be according to the rules and the laws of Dominica. He himself has told us that he skirts the rules and laws. He doesn't like to go according to the rules and laws. And as a result, he's violating our constitution and the agreement we have for our own self-governance. And I keep telling you guys, when that happens, there's a breakdown of law and order. There is increasing corruption, and there is a one-man decision mechanism, which is what currently exists in Dominica. So if Roosevelt Skerrit doesn't want to abide by the constitution of the laws which governs us, then he is accepting his fate as we see it fit as a population. And anyone, whether it's Roosevelt Skerrit, Lennox Linton, or anyone who vies to be in government in Dominica, has to understand the agreement for our governance is set out in the Constitution and set out in the laws. And if they violate those laws, or they decide they want to do things as they please, then they are opening out themselves to be removed. The process for removal of a prime minister is either through the votes or a vote of no confidence. And if the prime minister has the ability to dissolve parliament, preventing a vote of no confidence, then the people have no other choice but to remove him through forceful means. And what we saw happen in 2022 when that election was called was the Prime Minister deciding the dissolving House of Parliament, getting rid of some of the ministers who didn't agree with him, and then putting puppets in constituencies like Benson, Cottage, and Paybush constituency and Cottage constituency elsewhere in Dominica, without the people making a decision of who they want to represent them. And now we've seen a clear violation and a deliberate attempt to stall the electoral reform process to ensure that he remains in power forever and to do as he please. I am going to say it again. Roosevelt Skerrit needs to be removed from office. I think we're just kicking the can down the road every time we talk, and does not show this guy what it means to have power in the people. But Pelty, I'm going to be frank with you guys. There needs to be a bull pistol. I don't know if you know what a bull pistol is. And they need to hold Roosevelt Skerrit and tie him on some Kubawi tree up in the road going up in Tibode and Tobino and let him know what it is to be a man with some good bull pistol. That's what he deserves. I think Roosevelt Skerrit needs to vacate the office of Prime Minister, and I think it's provocation to abuse your office and to violate the rules under which we are governed.
Well, I want to repeat what I heard from Mr. Leonard Clinton this morning, the president of the United Workers' Party, when he said, I think Mr. Skerrit may just be testing the waters. And I think Mr. Lofty actually agreed with me this afternoon. I think it's just testing the waters. 2:40, we have a few more voice notes. We'll take a few more phone calls. Any comments from you at this time, Lofty?
Matt, just before we continue here, if you notice in all dictatorships, we are all watching TV, we all have news in real time. The latest being, what's his name, Mr. Assad from Syria. But I saw one of the frontline news outlets basically went in this man's palace when it was being looted by the people.
In the garage?
Well, I'm coming to the garage. The man had how many luxurious vehicles he had?
Plenty.
About 40 something.
A number of them.
Top notch for one man and his family. And the journalists went in the kitchen and the kind of a high-end foods that were there, and it's and the comment was basically, these people living filthy rich, and the ordinary Syrian, they were living with rags and just going every day trying to make ends meet. So that is a hallmark of all dictatorship regime. And we see it showing up its ugly head here in Dominica, man.
I remember Mr. Gaddafi.
Yes, and Saddam and the others.
I was fortunate to have a glass of milk, what they call kangaroo milk.
Wow.
With Mr. Gaddafi.
But you're big, you're a big fella, man.
I've been in that palace. So I have been in that palace.
Good.
But let's continue in the afternoon, of course. But I mean, I get the message as to how the dictators live. But their lifestyle.
And we are seeing it showing up its head here, because when your Prime Minister, Matt, could tell us in Dominica that he had no doing with $190,000 car that it was said to transport his children. We are seeing it in real time in Dominica.
And according to one friend of mine, you can only drive one car at a time.
Exactly. And if you go up to Mount Daniel, just take a drive to go up to Mount Daniel, people. Watch the wall, the exterior wall that is surrounding Mr. Skerrit's building that is now under construction by the Chinese. On the outside of that wall,
Is it a prison wall?
Well, it's a fortified wall. Outside of this wall is cladded with mosaic tiles. Outside of the wall.
You're more into construction than I am, so explain to the people what this tiles are about.
Mosaic tiles, Matt, is this high-end tiles that the ordinary man or woman wouldn't even dream to put on their floor in their homes, much less to have it on their exterior.
On the wall?
Of the wall.
Wow.
On the perimeter wall. And so that is just a glimpse of what is on the inside now of the bunker.
Let's take a voice note at this time. A lot has been revealed here this afternoon. 2:43.
Good afternoon, Matt, and good afternoon to all Dominicans.
Good afternoon to you.
Matt,
Yes.
I will not be there in person, but I will be there in spirit. I will not be there in person, but I have my personal representative on the ground in Dominica who will be representing me at Monday's gathering. Matt, I don't know why Roosevelt Skerrit and his gang of charlatans feel that this electoral reform is about them and not the country. This electoral reform is for them and not the people of the Commonwealth of Dominica. I am hearing and seeing them writing all sorts of things that we are in majority. We are in majority and we will. They don't see themselves. All of a sudden, they give themselves some form of government relevance, that they are part of the decision making. They don't realize that they are just ordinary Dominicans, and that bill is to benefit the country and its people. But again, as I said, they are charlatans, and that's what they do. They must keep up that quasi-dictatorship because they know what it benefits them, but this is not benefiting the Dominican people. And it's totally disrespectful that something like electoral reform, Roosevelt Skerrit thinks he can just announce a date and go into Parliament to present a bill for reading, unbeknownst to Dominicans as to what is in that bill. I don't understand that if the bill is for the benefit of the Dominican people, why there weren't sufficient meetings held over the country, all over the country, to inform Dominicans what is in that bill and how it is going to make them the elections free and fair. I don't understand if it's something for the people, why it has to go like some diabasak. Why he has to pull the wool over Dominicans' eyes by keeping them totally ignorant. And the charlatans talking about that the information is on some website. 3/4 of Dominicans don't even have internet. So which website are they sending them to look at? I find these people are very out of order. And they do that to Dominicans all the time because there are no consequences. Roosevelt Skerrit has heard Dominicans in ad nauseum with a chorus, Roosevelt, when you going to give us our electoral reform? Roosevelt, give us our electoral reform, please. So he thinks it's something personal. He thinks it's his checkbook in his back of his pocket, that he can just pull out his checkbook from the back of his pants pocket and write anything on it and present it because he thinks it's something personal. Well, it's not something personal. This is something constitutional for the country. And you will behave in the like manner that it is something for the country and not something personal. It's not like the ham and the turkey that you have given out, so you will choose who to give it to. It is not like that. Dominicans deserve better. Dominicans deserve free and fair elections, and they deserve their democratic rights being expressed and being respected. And the way you are going about it, sir, it's only a disrespectful creature like you who would have done something like that. You care nothing about the people. You only care about yourself. So the people are going to rise up. The people will stand and let you understand that it's time you respect them. It's time you serve them and not bully them into submission. It's time you understand that this country is ours and we have a bona fide stake in the country that we inherited through the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors. And you're not going to do what you want. Enough is enough. There are so many issues, so many burning issues. And it all hinges on lack of electoral reform, where you can do what you want, when you want, and how you want.
Dominican, we need our electoral reform. Tell him but call the cabinet Our money can just go to waste like that. Dominicans, spend your money. You should perform your duty. How long before we get our reform? We have some election in the interest of one.
There's some news I want to share with you. Of course, persons waiting for their boxes and barrels. The containers have been offloaded this afternoon. So instead of getting your package this week, you've been told that you'll be getting it on Monday next week instead, okay? All of you had plans and preparations being made for the Christmas. The barrels will be offloaded there. It will be offloaded today, but they will deliver on Monday, okay? Just so I would share that with you. Somebody thinks it's a part of a calculated move. Keep people from coming to the Parliament. I don't think so. I don't think that will work, though. We have a few more minutes on this. The talk on the block. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you, sir? How are you?
Delbert Paris, how are you?
Hey, Mr. Delbert, how you doing? How you doing? Good to hear you. Good to hear you.
Good afternoon to your guest in the studio. I think Lofty's on with you as well.
Lofty's there too as well, yes.
Good afternoon,
Mr. Paris, good afternoon. Yeah, man.
Good afternoon, brother. Very, very good discussion, Matt. Very lively discussion. And I thought it would be good if I was able to add my voice to the conversation, if you would have me, Matt.
Of course. At any time, add your voice. I'm sure you two you may be concerned as well.
Of course. I have my feelings about this, and sometimes we have to take the opportunity to bring a little bit of clarity to the conversation, and to take the opportunity also to join our voice and stand with our people. So Matt, if you would, earlier this year, you would remember that the commission was given a set of draft legislation regarding to electoral reform.
Mm-hmm.
Parliamentarians were also given that draft, and that was made available online. And recently, about the middle of November, another set of draft bills came out, and they were given to parliamentarians as well for some type of review. But earlier this week was when the actual bills that will be taken to Parliament on the 16th were delivered. Somewhere about it came out on Monday. I received mine on Tuesday. And those bills, which is written, in a specific way on a specific type of paper, is a legal document that will be actually taken, supersedes everything that you would have gotten before. And Matt, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at them, but it's over 350 something pages of documents. And those weren't the only bills that we received. We received a number of other bills, maybe 5 to 7 others, that will be at Parliament on Monday as well. So we might probably be there for a little while. Those are the bills that will be, when the time comes, it will form part of the legislation relating to electoral reform.
But before you go on, I just want to clarify, because I heard also from another parliamentarian yesterday that you guys may have received that bill somewhere in November, but chose I just want to be careful, but it was never the constituents, your constituents, your people, Dominicans were never educated by these parliamentarians as to the bills before them. Are these bills the same ones received earlier this week?
No. So I can't confirm that it's the same one, but they might have been the same draft legislations that we received in June.
Okay.
And those draft legislations are online. If any changes were made to it is something that has to be verified. But the bills that we got attached to the order paper that supersedes everything else, because you're not going to the Parliament with draft legislation that we received in June. We're going to Parliament with the bills together with the order paper that we received on Monday. That is the legal document that is going to Parliament. That is what will be presented. In this case, it will be presented once for it to be introduced. It will not be debated. At least that is what stands before us now. It's not supposed to be debated. It will be only introduced for the first reading. And subsequently, it will be made available to the public. Now, here's one of the things I would.
Before you go on again, what are your concerns about? I suspect you may have perused through the bills. What are your concerns about the bills before us now?
Before we get to the concerns, Matt, one of the things I would like, I wish our government would be more responsible, given the sensitivity of electoral reform and how long we have been as a people agitating for electoral reform. Now that they have finalized what they think they would like to pass, it should be made public. It should be made available. It's 300 and something pages. The people of Dominica would like to see it. It should already be online. I'm not sure if it's online yet. That is something you, Matt, can probably do some investigation and verify for us.
Well, we're having a news conference in the next few minutes. I'll verify.
To verify that, to make that document public, so that people can start looking at it already, even if they're planning to just do the first reading. Because of the sensitivity and the public interest in this piece of legislation, that is something that our administration should have already put out in the public and make available to people. But Matt, let's move on to some of the issues. I have you're right. Being being responsible, I have taken some time to look through documents. I must say that it is a bit of work. But there are some issues there. Some of the key issues that we have been talking about for a long time now, Matt, key areas that would make some significant changes or improvements to our electoral system is the issue of the cleansing of the voters list. The cleansing of the voters list and making provisions for annually cleansing the list, so that we know that we're dealing with an accurate list, with the issue of voter ID cards, solely for the purpose of voting. Of course, including the biometrics that was recommended by our electoral reform consultant. That would ensure that we take measures to prevent fraudulent activity in our voting process. And the issue of campaign financing. Matt, so far, based on what I've read, the provisions that are being made are either very weak, insufficient, or very silent on those issues. And we have a number of other notable omissions as well, Matt. The restrictions on bribery and treating for travel expenses, or even directly paying people to vote for you. It's very silent on that. What about the use of state resources, like state funds and state facilities to facilitate partisan politics? What about the regulations relating to public servants' involvement in partisan activities? And enforcing the equal access to media, not just state media. Because I think in these regulations, they're mandating access to state media, but not all media. But it goes even further. There's no strong repercussions or consequences for violating the rules as it relates to access to media. These are some of the key areas, Matt, that need to be looked at. And I find it very, very antagonistic for government having a people who take pride in the electoral system, who have been agitating for their right to free and fair elections. I find it irresponsible. And Matt, I am very encouraged, and I'm very pleased to hear the number of patriots in Dominica and outside of Dominica as well, who are raising their voices because they understand our collective responsibility as it relates to free and fair elections. Elections with integrity and elections that allow people to exercise their franchise. We're preparing to go to Parliament on Monday, Matt. And I want to urge and ask us to remember the sound advice of the Caribbean Court of Justice as we move forward. And Matt, if you permit me, I'll paraphrase what they said. That free and fair elections are fundamental to our democracy. And in their absence, It threatens constitutional legitimacy and could lead to public unrest. But I felt that the people of Dominica have a responsibility to ensure that the laws and legislation that are passed in the Parliament reflect the true and accurate wishes of the people.
And again, Mr. Paris, you are with the people to stand for, of course, their rights on Monday.
On our behalf. Thank you for the opportunity, man.
Thank you very much. Let's wrap it up here. Thank you, Mr. Paris, and I wish you luck there with these delegates on Sunday. Lofty, any final comments before we go?
Well, my final comments, Matt, I just want to again reiterate the call to all Dominicans, those of us who have a passion for this country, those of us who love this country dearly and don't want to see it go to the dogs like it have been going. We need to come and stand. Be counted. Come with your placards on Monday. Come, you will be refreshed. There will be some refreshments outside waiting you guys. So we're asking you to just come in person and do what needs to be done for country. Bring yourself. Don't, stay home in the comfort of your whatever it is and look at it or get a view or sneak peek on social media. No, we need you to come to stand. When Martin Luther King had this million-man march, there were no social media. There were not those telephones in abundance like we are today. Technology was not advanced. And we had 1 million people, 2 million legs basically and more, marching on Washington asking for rights as it pertains to human rights where race and color was concerned. And so in this day and age, it should be much more comforting for us to know that we can get the message, one, tell Lou to tell Sue, tell Paul to tell all, that we need the place to be is at our Parliament building come Monday. But I just want to say finally before I go that one of the things that you're going to hear from Roosevelt Skerrit this afternoon at his media conference,
news conference,
is that you guys have been asking for this thing so long, and now it is here, and you guys are kicking it down the road. What do you guys really want? Matt, you have the responsibility. I wouldn't be there. Tell Roosevelt Skerrit for us, for me, and for Dominicans. What he wants to bring to Parliament, it is not in the interest of the greater good. It is to serve his political interest, selfishly that is, and so we will not have it. We will not let it pass. We will not rest, as it were. When true amendments are made to what he's proposing in the interest of the people, then and only then we will rest and say, okay, go ahead, pass them, because we know at the end of the cycle, whoever political party wins. But for now, what he's presenting, it is just a more...
So you need an equal playing field.
Yes, it is just
a level playing field.
Yes, it is just a more calculated way of continuing to do the same old, and that is still in elections.
He wants to, of course, remain there for his legacy, political legacy.
But if after 25 years, Roosevelt hasn't built a legacy, I don't think he can do it in 5 or 10 more.
Well, because this is it for us. Don't forget, Monday, I'm heading to this news conference there in a few minutes. Stick around, Dominica. Stick around. Dominicans, are you ready for the electoral reform rally at home and abroad? The critical legislative review.